Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm letting my brain fly. Let's try this again. I'm letting my brain fly in regards to what makes sense for certain teams in regards to the situation with Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving is basically looking to be on the move. Can't seem to get nothing going with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I'm trying to figure out how can the Brooklyn Nets salvage their situation in the event they trade Kyrie Irving for, you know, period. How can they keep the situation from being completely lost? AKA, how do they keep from losing KD? Now, I don't know what they have in mind. Maybe for all I know, they're going to trade KD as well. Maybe he's gonna just assume to leave this place once his boy is gone. That seems like that could be real. But I'm looking at Bradley Beal. Okay, that's who I'm looking at. I'm looking at Bradley Beal because I know Bradley Beal is rumored to want to be on the move as well. And I think he and KD make a lot of sense in Brooklyn. Especially given the fact that Ben Simmons is also part of the situation. That's a good fit. KD, Ben Simmons, and Bradley Beal, in my head, seems like a good trio to work with if you're the Brooklyn Nets. Because you got a good balance between defense and pure scoring and defense. Bradley Beal's not known as a defender, right? Draymond Greenish type of thing for Ben Simmons. That's going to be his role there. And then KD is going to be his regular self. He fits anywhere in any situation. He and Bradley Beal be able to play off each other. You got Claxton down there. You're not looking at him to score at all. He can just continue to ascend as a defensive player at a reasonable price, unless he's up for extension or something like that I don't know about. But the key for them is to try to keep KD happy, give him a contending team in the Eastern Conference. And while I don't know that they would be the leading favorites to win the championship, if you have a healthy Ben Simmons facilitating the basketball to those lethal God-level scorers, you're going to win a lot of games. You're going to win a whole lot of games in Brooklyn. So, if for some reason the Washington Wizards would be willing to take back Russell Westbrook's $47 million contract, they could send Bradley Beal to, hurting myself while I'm doing this, Bradley Beal to Brooklyn, and Kyrie can come to LA, send that contract to Washington. That's how that works. That was what I was trying to come around to saying. It took 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get all of that out, but that is the gist of the thought. That makes sense. Now, I don't know if Bradley Beal has bigger plans for himself. Maybe he wants to go somewhere else. Obviously, the Miami Heat, they're in the mix for some things. The Knicks are clearly trying to pick up a star. They're going to be in the mix for somebody. And so on and so forth. There will be other teams as well who are going to look to get in the mix for players as they come about. But it looks, I'm getting the vibes, just me getting vibes, that Kai and Bron would probably like to reunite now. It just makes sense. It's time for them to reunite. I'm Laker fan Brandon. BDF44 is not trading Anthony Davis for Kyrie Irving. I'm not doing that. So if I can't get this deal done with Russell Westbrook's contract, and of course the 27 pick, which you guys know I hate having to give up, but will have to give up. I know this. I'm just accepting this. If I can't get it done with those two pieces, I'm not doing it. If I'm Rob, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry, Kai, I can't do that. I'm not giving up Anthony Davis, two-way defensive star with length, for Kyrie Irving to guard. I'm not doing that. Never, ever. And I know how lethal Kyrie is. I just saw Steph Curry do what he did. I understand what it is, what Kyrie brings to the table. I'm not belittling that. But because we're building non-defensive, right? You're building two max contracts with two non-defensive players in LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. There's no way in hell there's any logical sense that you have Anthony Davis in that situation and you let him go. You don't do that for the piece that is Kyrie Irving. That is bad math. Anybody that knows basketball knows that's bad math. Kyrie would agree. You don't do that. So you can't do that. The Lakers need to keep Anthony Davis at all costs out of these conversations. And I know that he's probably the most attractive trade piece for the Brooklyn Nets, obviously, but respectfully, never going to happen. It's not happening. And if the Lakers are considering doing that, they should not. If I haven't been clear enough, don't do that. Keep Anthony Davis in place, period, in regards to this particular trade. And from there, use Russell Westbrook in the 27 pick to make this happen. What you do in regards to the 27 pick is you try to reacquire that later on down the road from someone else. You in other words, you're not reacquiring it technically, but you have intentions of acquiring a first round pick somewhere down the road, for which I'm sure we do because picks fly around. So eventually we'll land one. I'm not sure how we'll land one, but like I said, they do fly around. So what I think the Lakers can, and also here's a thought from me in regards to getting a first round pick. Now they ain't gonna get me a first round pick anytime soon, but it is a path to acquiring one. The Lakers already are on top of this. You buy second round picks. That's what you do. You buy second round picks. You acquire them, you turn them into something over time that can get you a first round pick. Same thing about the G League theory that I've had for the last year or so. You dip in the G League, you pull out the best players you can, you turn them into something, you trade them for stuff. Those are paths to first round picks if we happen to get rid of the 27 pick. So I have that in mind. And now I'm accepting what it is we're about to do. I just want to make sure that I can secure getting it done without giving up Anthony Davis. Which also brings me the presence of another issue within that same thing, which is Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook need not ever be on the same team together unless it's the Olympics or an all-star team. That's the end of that's all that needs to be said. So yeah, that's another reason why we must not include Anthony Davis in this situation. So that's what I'm hoping the Lakers are keeping in mind as they move around. I think it's a situation where, well, we'll see. I don't want to start jumping ahead of myself and thinking about stuff that has nothing to do with the information in front of me. But as you see things happen, then you can start seeing how other things will fall into place. Now, because this person is traded, there's a spot open here. Now, this person's maybe not happy here, so maybe they'll want to go there. I think about a name like DeAndre Ayton, for example. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, maybe I want that player, right? Because that makes a lot of sense for me. Now, if I'm maybe instead of bringing in Bradley Beal, that is more of a fit for what it is I'm trying to do. I know he's not going to be in Phoenix because they don't have his money. So, and I know he's a max contract, so he slips in and makes sense. So, you know, that's where my head went there. There are other pieces that fit that who may be on the move to, is what I'm saying to you. So, I don't know if these teams are all thinking like I'm thinking, but if they are, this could be one of the biggest trades in NBA history. Because if I'm Phoenix, I want in on this trade, right? If I'm Washington, I want in on this trade. Obviously, the Lakers and Brooklyn's in on this trade because there are ways for these players all to move at once. In my head, I can see it. They can all move in this one trade. You can move Ayton in this trade. You can move Beal in this trade. You can move Kai in this trade. You can move Westbrook in this trade. Like, seriously, this could happen. The Pacers can get involved in this if they want to, based on the structure of what it is that they have and the nature of the ability to take back salary. This could happen if these teams are thinking like I'm thinking. So keep your eyes open. I'm pretty sure the phones are going off crazy. Sacramento makes sense because they have their fourth pick, and I don't necessarily think, just from in my head, they need to draft anybody at that spot necessarily. When I look at the presence, and I'm jumping into a whole nother thing here, so bear with me. But when I look at Sacramento's situation, De'Aaron Fox could also be somebody that should be moved in a trade like this because his contract don't make no sense to me there anymore. You got Sabonis in place, interior player who doesn't shoot the three at all. You got De'Aaron Fox, who's one of the fastest players in the world, star player, best used when he has the ball in his hands, doesn't really shoot the three but can occasionally shoot it, does things on both sides. Then you got Davion Mitchell, who clearly already is going to be one of the best defenders in the league. You clearly see that. And he's going to be able to score a lot and get assists. He's going to be an all-star, I think, looking at how his game is coming. So you got a lot of stuff in place. You just traded away Tyrese Halliburton for absolutely no reason. It was one of the best contracts in the world, in my opinion. One of the best contracts in all of sports, probably Tyrese Halliburton on a rookie contract. And now you're stuck with these contracts that are not so great. Sabonis is a great star level player, probably make an all-star team with the Kings at some point, but it's like, they're not good enough to do anything, and they got that big De'Aaron Fox contract. How happy is he going to be there over the next several years? Does it make sense to have him at that dollar amount, knowing that Davion Mitchell is best with the ball in his hands too? I just don't know. I think they can improve, maybe get themselves a star in this situation, maybe swing for the fences and get them one of those guys. That makes more sense to me than them just drafting a guard here or Ivy or Sharp. Like that. Yeah, they're going to be a good team if they draft those young players. But it's just, to me, that just seems like that's the situation right there where the Kings can maneuver themselves in such a way to get significantly better with that fourth pick than what the fourth pick may actually provide them. So they're just a situation I'm looking at for an example. They could shuffle around, get better. Atlanta has some pieces. I know John Collins might be on the move. He could be somebody involved in this trade. So if, the potential is there. All of these teams could afford to make a move with a max level player is the moral of the story. When you have guys that are making upwards of $15 million a year, multiple years, stuff like that, they can all get on the phone and be involved in a Kyrie Irving to Laker trade. So, and that's the presence of the Russell Westbrook's contract as well. That's the value of his contract, as we said a million times. So he can help facilitate that process by freeing up cap space for all of those teams, any of those teams that acquire him. So if they choose to stretch it or just play him out for the year. So that is what I have to say there. I hope everybody's having a great day, enjoying their holiday, Juneteenth. As for myself, I'm just going to continue to wait for this news because I know it's coming. The Lakers are going to make a move of some sort. They're going to get somebody. It seems to me they're trying to make a splash before the draft. That's what it looks like to me. I wouldn't be surprised if we do something between now and the next several days. This situation with Kyrie, from what I understand, he wants a 4-year deal. The Lakers are inclined to do, I don't know. When it comes to something like that, I don't know. I really don't know. We are the type of team that tends to do things that other teams wouldn't dare do in that way. Obviously requiring Russell Westbrook. So here's the thing. I'll just say this. If Kai's coming to the Lakers, we are definitely the organization that can put up with a lot more than most in regards to. We've dealt with it all. We've seen it all. We've been through it all twice, 3 or 4 times. There's no personality, no strangeness, no pressured situation. There's nothing that this franchise hasn't been through in my lifetime. Nothing at all. So if Kyrie comes here and has a different point of view or a different way of doing things, believe you me, the lights are still going to be on. We're still going to run around. People are still going to talk about the team. They're going to pick apart everything that's said or done here. And it's going to be about LeBron James no matter what. Like, that's just what it's about. That is where we're at. And I never thought that Kai never didn't want to play with LeBron. Even though it was much said about that, I never thought that. And I've said this in this camera several times, but I never thought he wanted just to get away from Bron. I thought it was more about him leaving Cleveland before Bron did. That's what I always thought it was about. He didn't want to be there for his final contract year on a bad Cleveland team by himself. That was what I thought going to Boston was all about. I think the media made the narrative that it was something more than that because it was sexy to do so. But the fact that they're reuniting now doesn't surprise me at all. I think that makes sense. They've won together. They know one another's games. And most importantly, they're in a place right now where they can kind of set some things aside. They both come off some bad years. They both had some humbling situations over the last couple of years. And I think Kyrie Irving is ready to get back to playing basketball, I believe, at a winning high level. I think last year probably sent him for a loop. Maybe it didn't turn out the way he thought it would. Maybe it didn't turn out in the result he hoped it would with his decision. You know what I mean? And it's time to get back to basketball, I think, for him. So maybe getting in LA, giving him a fresh start on a new coast would be good for him. You know what I mean? Get him some of this LA sunshine. It'd be good for him. I think I think he'll get tired of some of the people, to be honest with you, in LA. Just judging by what I've seen from him, I don't know that he would like some of the energy he'll see. But all in all, it's a good place, man. It's a good place. I've been here my whole life. Ain't nothing wrong with LA. You're going to love the weather more than anything. And I think what you will ultimately find is that there is peace out here. There are many places you can go to find peace. So he will find much of that if he's looking for it. In the meantime, though, if you're trying to be a basketball player, ain't no peace if you ain't here to work. Ain't no peace if you ain't here to show up and show out. And look, Kyrie Irving knows what time it is. He's putting on purple and gold. He knows what that means. So at this point, it's going to be on him to honor his brother. That's it. He knows what I'm talking about. Laker Nation knows what I'm talking about. You put on that uniform and you don't do right by us, it ain't about us. It's about your relationship with that spirit there. So, make it right, Kyrie. Make it right, bro. That's all I would tell him. Don't put on this uniform with any intention of doing anything but being your absolute and utter best every single night. If you're not looking to do that, you're not going to honor your brother the right way. So, brothers, shoot, it ain't just one of them. There's two of them. If I'm being real, there's two brothers you got to honor here. And I think Kyrie is going to understand that as soon as he puts on the uniform, if he does get traded here. And look, if he goes to the Knicks, I think there's a certain level of pride in him getting that situation straight too, just for balance purposes. If he goes to the Knicks, I expect him to put it on a good show there too. Brooklyn Nets are definitely an important team in New York, but you're not really in New York till you put on a Knicks uniform. You're not really representing the city till you put on a Knicks uniform, and I think most people will agree with that. So I can't speak for their pride and what they're about, but I have enjoyed watching the Knicks from afar. They're one of the teams that I thought pretty good of over the years, and I want to see him succeed if he goes there too. I want to see him put on for them. He didn't give Boston his best. He went through some injury issues, some of the stuff going on there with the way they were shuffling the lineup. I didn't think was great, but ultimately I don't think he gave them everything he had. I don't. I think he would probably agree if he would really dig deep on that. Brooklyn, that situation was what it was, but this is somebody who's hit a championship shot. We've seen it. So at this point in time, it's time for him to get back to building his legacy. We're seeing guys build their legacy from here, so it doesn't have to be downhill from here for Kyrie Irving. It doesn't have to be. Even if this team doesn't have all it needs, he can still put up his numbers and eventually get his number up in that rafters with the Lakers, which is ultimately something that I think he'll be able to do if he focuses. Because the talent, come on, man. We ain't gotta even go there and talk about Kyrie's talent. He's gonna earn his way up there if he just plays. All he gotta do is be available to us. Can't control injuries. We're never gonna charge injuries against you. But we do ask you to take care of yourself so that you can best control what you can, I guess is what I would say in that regard, just like anybody else. So that is what I got to say, man. I wish it were under better circumstances. I wish I saw a better outlook for the team in regards to acquiring Kyrie Irving so that I could bring a certain level of excitement that he's due to receive. But I just have a pessimistic look at our situation as a whole. And I just think he's going to be a blanket over a problem. And if he's not a better version of himself than he was in these other places, he's going to be another problem for us to deal with. So I think that's everybody's concern. So it is what it is, man. I welcome him. He knows I welcome him. If he follows me, he knows I welcome him. But it's just about what are we going to do once he gets here? Well, who are we as a team? Can we define ourselves to be a winner? Or are we just going to be a team that's all over the place with quirky personalities and people who are not focused on basketball? Been through that, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. If that's the way the season's going to go, it's not going to be something that we're going to talk positively about here. So that's it, man. I like everybody involved. I want to see everybody succeed. That's what this channel's about, seeing people succeed. I hope the Lakers are on the same page about what it takes to win and what it takes to build for it. So that's what I got to say, man. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.